I tell you what, I can't believe that we're watching the same cricket match that we were watching 24 hours ago. We saw 17 wickets fall on day one. We saw, 3 Australian wickets fall in the first session today, and then it was, Jaiswal and KL Rahul. It really was something quite special. So at the end of the day, no wickets down, an unbroken opening partnership of 172. They lead Australia by 218 runs, 10 wickets in hand. And that was after Australia were bowled out for a 104. It didn't start all too well for the hosts this morning. And although Stark and Hazlewood did put on, 25 for the last wicket, they faced 112 balls. It was quite something. But 17 wickets, no wickets in the last 2 sessions. I enjoyed myself, possibly a little bit too much in an Australian commentary box.
Yes,
but
you did.
There you go. I mean, obvious question now to start, but tip of the trucker hat, who's that going to?
Well, I tell you what, it's a fight back. After day one, the wicket's a bit different to what we expected here in Perth. So that was something that was unexpected today. You normally, day 2 of a test match, the wicket starts to get a lot faster. But what we did see today is the ball dropping short on a number of occasions to Alex Carey. So I'll tip my hat a little bit to that because it was so different. But the other thing is the high quality batting. After no one saw this coming, and the way Jaiswal and KL Rahul went out, the Aussies didn't bowl bad. They hit some good areas, they asked a lot of questions, but the batters played late under their eyes, and hats off to both teams. It was a contest out there now, and now we have a real test match on.
And you know who else I'm going to give a tip of that old trucker hat to? Ground staff. I saw those comments on our little YouTube channel of all the, if this was happening elsewhere and 17 wickets fell, it would be all about the pitch. That pitch played really well today, and we saw that. We saw that in that 10th wicket stand for Australia, and then we saw that the way in which the batters for India today as well. That pitch is a good pitch. This is good test cricket, as you say. So hat tip from me to the ground staff. This is cracking cricket. Australia went through 6 bowlers today. Can you see a weakness in this Indian opening partnership?
Well, not at the moment. Their concentration was outstanding. And the one thing they did really well today, they absorbed the pressure. That first 15 overs was hard work. And what we've seen and learnt from the first innings is from about 40 overs onward, the game changed. The ball got a lot softer, things became easier. But what they did, they played the ball late. Australia bowled well. They beat the bat on a number of occasions. The batsman had to take a few balls on the body, but they stuck at it. The one player the Aussies missed today was Cameron Green.
Oh, don't say it. But yes, they did.
Well, the reason why, you've got to... This tack complements each other. The 3 fast bowlers, they'll go down when they retire as one of the best 3 we've ever had. But the big thing they do is they complement each other. You got a left arm quick, you got Paddy Cummins who can do different roles, you got Josh Hazlewood who's McGrath-like. But what Cameron Green added was some grunt. He added intimidation. You could bowl a couple of overs of bounces. He's coming from 6'7". It was uncomfortable. And then the batsmen have to make a decision. That's what they missed today. They missed that factor. They tried at stages to use Marnus in that role, but Cameron Green was a big loss today.
Another thing that I think Mark Waugh was quite vocal about throughout the day was how the kind of chatter, that Australian chippiness, and that the shoulders slumped a little bit. We know that Alex Carey behind the stumps is a little bit more of a quiet character, but normally we have figures like, Marnus Labuschagne chatting away. You were quite vocal behind the stumps when you were in the heyday. What would you have done to try and get Australia back in the game, get that morale up?
Well, it's interesting. When you're in a partnership like that, there's a few ways you can go about it. You can make bowling change. You can bowl 2 or 3 overs spelled, but all you're trying to do is get a reaction out of the batters to do something different. But the fielders can play a role as well. And how you can do that, you can actually make it competitive with each other. For a keeper, for example, you can run up to the stumps, get the fielders to start to throw the ball into you, in and around the batsman, make them looking for something that they don't want to do. Because the one thing batsmen want to do, they want to get in their own bubble. And once they're in their own bubble and controlling the tempo of the game, that's when it can be hard to get test batsmen out. So the fielders play a role there to create some energy, have a bit of fun, move around, change the angle they walk in, just so the batsmen start to think, what are they doing? What are they changing that field for? And that's then when you can find the opening.
They are a patient duo. Sometimes I have to check myself that Jaiswal is only 22 years of age. You kind of watch him and you think, oh, this chap's been around for ages. Then the camera will zoom into his face, which is very cherubic, baby-faced for a 22-year-old. You think, my goodness, what is there to come? And I've seen a lot of him against England. So, yeah. So a reasonably demoralising, a tricky day for the hosts. There must have been something that got you excited.
Well, I'm going to take it away from the cricket today.
Okay.
What I got excited about is the rumour that Mohammad Shami is not far away. And what we heard today, I don't know if it's true, but we're hearing Mohammad Shami is going to be available for the pink ball test match.
So I know that he's been bowling in the Ranji Trophy. He's been bowling pretty well. He's got a new haircut as well. Very fine, very fine. And he could well be. I mean, Rohit Sharma, of course, is also on the comeback. He might well come out for the second test. Mohammad Shami. But you say you're excited. I wouldn't be excited if I was in Australian shoes.
Well, the thing about this show, you want to see the best out here. And we're seeing the crowd today, how much passion they have. The Indian fans are still there cheering Virat Kohli while he practices his forward defence. So you want to see the best players out here. And Mohammad Shami to come back to complement this attack. Rana, I thought, did a really, really good job on debut. He got 3 wickets and he got quicker as the game went on. He's bowling balls in the mid-140s when he got a lot more confidence. But I am excited to see Mohammad Shami, if the rumour's true, is around for a pink ball test.
Well, Australia, you heard it here first. We got Australia who are up against the wall in that first test. Could go 1-0 down.
Whoa. We're day 2.
There was a could. What are India? 218 ahead. Of course, Australia could do many, many things in the next 3 days. But say they went 1-0 down.
No, I
You're
can't
going
say
into the pink test in Adelaide, a returning Rohit Sharma and Mohammad Shami. I mean, this could be a cracking series once again here in Australia. I'm looking forward to it as, of course, the neutral spectator.
I don't know if the neutral spectator's there anymore, Izzy.
I'm in a press box
2.
of 20 Aussies or so. You need to have something in there for the other side.
Well, yesterday we were all booking our flight that India are going to crumble, but I tell you what, there's still 3 days to go in this test match. And the Australians would have had a really good look at the surface. It would be interesting to see how it pans out. Is it going to be traditional whack a wicket where the cracks start to play a role in the last 2 games? But it looks different. So don't write off the Aussies yet when they get their opportunity to bat.
And it'll be really interesting to see as well. We just saw Nathan McSweeney was doing the rounds, the media rounds. Very mature of him in a way to be doing it on day 2 after a really hard day in the dirt. He's got a challenge ahead of him, of course, opening the batting once more. I wonder what India will decide to do as well. We've got 3 days left to play. Whether they bat out a couple of sessions and then try and put Australia in for the last one. It's all to play for tomorrow. Going back to today, give me a hang on a sec moment.
Well, the hang on a sec moment, it actually come from Jaiswal's batting, and we know the sort of player he is. I think he's hit 36s in this calendar year. And the shot he played, where he got down on one knee and sort of helped the ball on its way over a wide, fine leg for 6. He was very, very patient, but we also seen little glimmers of that aggressive side that we know.
I can tell you exactly how many 6s are because I watched most of them when he played against England. So he hit 20.
I was just trying to get you down that path.
26 6s in a 5-test series against England, which I think was the most for any series for an Indian. And he's now on 34, which is a record, and it surpassed Brendan McCullum, he of Bazball fame, who hit 33 in a calendar year. So he's already there, and we've got another 3 test matches in 2024 still to go. So he's going to be absolutely beyond that by miles. The one thing I would say as an England fan is it's nice to watch him do it against not England. But yeah, he's a talent, isn't he? Absolutely a joy to watch, and he's there on the cusp of 3 figures. I'm not going to put the mockers on him because I know that once he gets to 3 figures, he quite often doubles up.
That worries me.
Once in a generation talent?
It's too early to see. But I'll tell you what he did do today. He showed a different side of his batting. He showed a patient side. There was times in the game where I thought, you know what, we need to take the ball wider because he's a bat-on-ball sort of player. But his patience was there today. He's obviously done his research on about the Perth wicket where he can leave off length. So he showed a different side to him today. But there was times where that attacking flair wanted to take over, and that 6 caught my eye.
All right, then, next question. Do-over of the day. Where did it go wrong and who did it go wrong for?
Well, there's a Obviously, the drop catch. That's a hard one, but I'm going to take it a little bit further than that.
So that was Usman Khawaja, Jaiswal at what, just past 50, hadn't he?
Yeah, and there's a little bit going on at that stage of the game. There was half a run-out chance. There was a drop catch at first slip. But it just looked like to me, and it looked a hard wicket to get your bearings on. That you had the Justin Langer end where we thought a lot of the wickets were going to come from with the green patch, but they didn't. But it was from the members' end where there was a lot of nicks and majority of the wickets were there. But it just looked like today the keeper and the slips were standing a little bit too deep. A lot of balls bounced short of the keeper and the slip. So sometimes you've got to be brave enough to go up that extra metre. If the one does fly through, naturally you'll catch it. You'll react to it. But you don't want those ones dropping shorty all the time. We've seen that a lot today.
I must say, for me, coming into the test this morning, I was thinking, gosh, the one batter that was in form, at least for Australia, was Alex Carey. He was 19 not out overnight, but he only managed to face, 3 more balls before Bumrah got his fifer. And I mean, maybe that was predictable, the way in which Bumrah's been bowling, but it was a real shame for Australia. They couldn't get any nearer to that Indian total. But hey-ho, there we are. Guess we're here, day 2, end of day 2. Yesterday, I definitely wouldn't have predicted that this was going to happen today. Can you dare even predict what might happen tomorrow?
Well, everything we've tried at the moment's been wrong. I think what we're going to get over the next couple of days is a real grind. It's going to be high-quality Test cricket, and it's going to be to see who breaks first. This first hour is going to be hugely important. I know that's a cliche in Test cricket, but Australia have got to find a way to get a couple of new batsmen in. If they can do that, it's a wicket where things can happen fast. Things can look like they're going to plan. New batter comes in and it can become really hard to start. And that's what Australia have got to do. They've got to find a way to draw up the scoreboard, find that wicket. And when they do get that little opening, they've got to go for the game. They've got to get 2 or 3 wickets on top of that and go for the game.
All right, we're now into the Secret Cricket Club question segment, and there's some goodies here. Number 1, Santosh, he asks, why are Australia not sledging Jaiswal? We touched on this earlier. He might react and play a stupid shot. Where's the chat?
Well, I think there was chats at times. I was listening with Travis Head and Marnus Labuschagne. At times, there was a little bit of chat, but it was hard today. It's one of those days where you're concentrating so hard because you need to take that half chance. And I think that's what happened today. There was some good bowling. As I said, everyone was doing their job. But when someone's batting like that, there's not much you can say. The only reason you say it is you try to get a reaction out of the player to do something different. And at times they did do that, but both Indian batsmen were in control.
Madeline asks, what do Australia need to do differently on day 3 and in their second innings when and if we get there?
Well, I think that's simple. I think if you get in on this wicket, Australia's top order, they've got to go big. We've got guys in there, Marnus, Steve Smith. You've got Travis Head, who was seen can be a match winner at times. If they get in on this surface, they've got to go big. They've got to bring Bumrah back for his 3rd and 4th spell, get him tired, get a lot of miles in his legs, and then they'll be able to dictate a bit what happens in the scoring. But it's going to be starting. They've got to start well. They've got to start sharp, get through that initial period, and once they do, batting will become easier, as we've seen today.
I've got a controversial one for you. Andy asks, at what point do the selectors drop Marnus Labuschagne?
Well, I think Marnus is safe for the series. I don't see any batsman knocking the door down to put pressure on Marnus. He's a quality player. We've seen that for some time. And what happens with quality players, they're really good problem solvers. And I think Marnus will go away. He'll work on it. And if he does get a start, expect him to get a big 100. He's just got to get through that period, probably release himself a little bit and play with a little bit more freedom, but he's safe.
Now, here's an interesting one, and I think I saw a stat on this, that the Australia's 10th wicket partnership is averaging more than its first wicket partnership over the last year or so. So Caitlin asks, should Stark and Hazlewood be batting higher?
Well, I can tell you who wouldn't want to bat higher is Stark and Hazlewood. When they were watching what was happening with Bumrah in that first innings, there's no way in the world they wanted to get up the order. They're doing a great job down the bottom of the order. They're both different batsmen. Josh Hazlewood, once he gets through his first few balls, he has got a good defence. And Mitchell Stark's a better bat than he gets credit for. He's got some shots. He's got a lot of power. But the one or the two people that don't want to go higher are Stark and Josh.
So maybe it's the very fact that they are that 10th wicket partnership, the freedom that they have, that they score so many runs. Well, answers on a postcard. Right, we're into the good stuff here. Martin asks, who ate the most Tim Tams that Buff brought for the Triple M cricket commentary team late in the afternoon?
Well, I tell you, there's two interesting things about that.
Okay.
The first one is Darren Lehman left Triple M.
Yeah.
And it's taken him a day and a half to get back into our rooms. So he wants to be back. Maybe Buff's made the wrong decision.
He's literally coming in bearing the goods, isn't he? Oh.
But the other thing is, I was on comms at the time when the offering of the Tim Tams, and I had a quick look behind, we're in a break, and there was a double pack. And Buff couldn't talk and offer them to everyone. There was one Tim Tam left in the double pack and the rest were in Darren Lehman's mouth.
Hey, you shoved him under the bus, not me.
Well, I know where they were getting shoved. And they were straight down Buffer's throat. So there was only one offered.
There you go. The man that offered them, Buff himself. Final one then. Bo asks, oh, this is another important one. How is Hads feeling about going on the Optus Stadium roof up there in front of us? It looks glorious in this sunshine.
Well, there's two people up there now, and they look like they're going to enjoy it a lot more than I did. But you know what? I'm a team player. And last year I had the wonderful opportunity with Gus Wallen to go up there and call Steve Smith's 100. The scary thing about it, and Greg Blewett started this, when I was walking up, he said, Hads, you know that they don't have a harness. So, and, you know, I'm not a big fan of heights. Gus isn't as well. And I didn't really pay much attention. And as we walked out of the lift, we didn't have a harness. And where I struggled a bit was actually looking down on the ground when I could see nothing underneath me. So I'll let you know a little secret, Izzy. I called the ball, or expert commentating.
Very expert.
Yeah, not looking at the ground, looking behind because I could see a solid surface. So I will give it up to someone else. But if I have to go, I'll go.
Well, you were calling a Steve Smith 100 then. You might be calling a Steve Smith 100 tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, that's the end of it for today. Willow Talk Extras. End of day 2 in the first test of the border-gavaskar trophy. I'm Izzy Westbury. He's Brad Haddin. Good night for now.
Keep it real.
Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.